Jolan Schroen, welcome to another exciting day in our galaxy. And today I want to talk about something most guides never cover, but it affects everything that you do in this game. And that is your server's culture. And you would say, we have no culture on our server. Maybe the case, but it's right. The server culture, the way your server behaves, fights, negotiates, and even trash talks can make or break your entire STFC experience. And so just let's start with a simple question. What is server culture in STFC? It's not just the alliances and the power rankings that you see here on the screen at the moment. Server culture is the maybe written down, but also the unspoken rules, habits, traditions, rivalries, and vibe that define how your whole server plays. And some servers are brutal and lawless, and some servers are coordinated and diplomatic, and some are active, and some are like ghost towns. And guess what? You are completely at the mercy of that environment, and I hear that in some comments regularly, whether you realize it or not. And that's why it's so important for me to put down some points here. So if you hear the paper rattling, then you know why. Because on some servers there are unspoken agreements, or they put it even on a server Discord in rules of engagement. Like the stuff with the miners protected on nodes unless there's 0 nodes or OPC, or during incursions that you don't attack your own server. Those are unspoken rules. Nobody needs to stick to them, but that shows what kind of server you are if people stick to that, so that you don't attack the others from your server while another server is invading you, for example. And some have a lot of rules. Some would say far too many. On my server, for example, we have a few row rules too many that are not that necessary. But nevertheless, that's still something playable. There are other servers out there, and this is not the first server I'm playing on, as you know. It's the Wild West. So there's constant PvP going on a server, and we're not only talking some rule-based 0 node hunting, but just killing whatever you see. And that's something that people might want to think about. But why does this matter for you? Because if you're a player who wants to grow steadily and build and grind, a hyper-aggressive server can make that quite miserable. And that will not let you grow as much as you want to. But on the other side, people are different. So you may be a person to thrive on constant conflict and raiding. Yeah, then a sleepy server or a miner server will just, bore you to tears or something. So server culture directly affects how events play out as well. As I said, the agreement for the incursions, for example, that we have. And there are rules on some servers, even about PvP, that in a PvP event, if Scopely didn't say a certain system, then it's not free to shoot everything in the whole galaxy, then row still applies, for example. Or there are other gentlemen's agreements going on. When G5 started for a server, they might have some agreements for G5. When G6 starts on a server, they may have some gentleman agreements for G6. And whenever G7 starts, there may be some gentleman agreements for G7, or there may be agreements for territories, whatever. But there's a lot of diplomacy going on many servers. And if your server has cooperative norms, you find it much easier to complete events, to grow, and to progress in your game. And if it doesn't, well, every event even will become a war, and it costs you resources, time, and sanity probably. So I wouldn't like to play on a server that's just the Wild West, because I still want to progress. And I want to progress without paying payloads of money. You know my investment strategy, so to speak, for this game. And that wouldn't be something for me, but it may be different for other people. And the point is, on many servers, a few major alliances run the show. And the way they treat each other, they enforce rules or react to violations defines your whole experience. There are some servers where the big alliances will behave as the dictators of the server. I've seen that, and that's also the point why I'm not on one of these servers anymore, and I started again on another server. But if you are in an alliance that's smart with diplomacy on most of the servers, then you'll have access to events, more targets, and less drama. To be honest, if you are on a reasonable server, it doesn't need to be a minor server, but on a reasonable server where diplomacy is going on, if you're in an alliance that is good at diplomacy, you will have quite a good life there. But if you're in a toxic war zone where nobody talks and just attacks, that will just burn you out fast, and you will not have too much fun in the game anymore. And so the problem is that you cannot control the whole server, but you can choose if you fit into that server. And that's why I'm thinking about this. There are two players on the same level, the same ship, the same resources, one on a diplomatic and cooperative server and one on a Wild Wild West server. They will both not spend money or whatever, but they will just try to progress the same way. I guarantee you, after 3 months, the one on the cooperative server will have done much better than the one on the Warzone server. And that's the reason why I want to suggest to especially to the very new players here in this game. Before you go past Ops 12, really think about your server. Is that server something you can see the Galaxy chat and everything, and you will have experiences already with other players? Is that a server where I want to be? If not, up to Op 12, you have the one chance to switch servers once at least without starting from scratch. So think about it very well before going to Ops 13 if your server fits to you. And that was the point why I wanted to make this video. For the others, like I did in the past, if you really don't like the server culture, then you will have no chance but to restart. But I didn't invest much money in the past, so wasn't too bad for me to start over once more in a more, let's say, sane environment. And so I hope that you all, whatever is your approach on the game, can just enjoy the game, and it will not be messed up just by a server culture. Get annoyed by the bugs in the game, get annoyed by Scopely, get annoyed by all the grind you have to do, but from the game and not from the people on your server. So if you want to add something, please write in the comments below the video on Discord. And if you want to see another video right now, the next one is right here in the end screen. I'll see you there. I'll be back.